Hey guys, it's Miss Kalanicky. Just wanted to send you guys a video. I'm gonna be out today. I'm just trying to rest up and get better 'cause I'm tired of being sick, and hope some extra rest will do me some good. So you should have already done the do now slide, which says copy your homework and write today's date on the cover for lesson 6.3, and you should open up and have this page open in front of you. This one says, I can solve and graph one-step inequalities. So just like yesterday, we solved using adding and subtracting. Today, we're going to be solving using multiplying and dividing. Take a look at the example in front of you right now. It says solving an inequality using multiplication. So based on the problem that they give you, which is clearly a division problem, to undo the division, I have to multiply both sides by 5. Now, why 5 and not -3? Remember, our focus is always on the variable. So I want to get rid of what is on the same side as the variable, which in this case is a 5. So when I do timesing by 5 on both sides, my 5's will cross out. Cross out with me, please do. And then I get 5 times -3 is -15. You may want to jot down the rules on the side. Today we're going to be doing multiplying and dividing rules, which are, that was a terrible division, which is same signs, positive answer, different signs, negative answer. Or if you remember our adding rules, same signs add, different signs subtract, and our subtraction rules, LCI. But today we're focusing on multiplying and dividing. And those are going to be same signs positive, different signs negative. So I have different signs here. My answer is going to be negative. 5 times 3 is 15. Just like we talked about yesterday, these are the same kinds of steps I would be using with an equation, except my extra step is the fact that I can now graph it. X is less than or equal to -15. Close dot on -15, and my arrow is going to point this way because this little arrow is pointing to the left. Okay, so let's talk about a couple examples, and I'm going to write down some rules for you for today. Before we do that, stop and jot. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Name the pairs of inverse operations that we use to solve equations and inequalities. We talked about inverse operations yesterday. So pause the video, take like 30 seconds, maybe 15 seconds, because you'll probably get them real quick. And write down the 2 pairs of inverse operations and come back when you're ready to go over them. Alright, so you should be back. We have 2 pairs of operations. The ones we did yesterday were adding and subtracting. Those were yesterday's 2. And today's 2 that we're going to be working on is multiplying and dividing. So those are the 2 different pairs. So today we're going to be focused on multiplying and dividing. Take a look at these 2 examples here. I'm going to show you this one, and then with a partner you're going to be working on this one. No questions yet about the partners, just take a second. Alright, so this is a multiplying problem. I can tell because my coefficient, the number 6, -6, is next to my variable or letter, which is the x. That means multiplying. So I'm going to draw my line straight down the inequality symbol, and because this is a multiplying problem, I undo it by doing its inverse operation, which is dividing. So I'm going to divide both sides. I'm drawing my line underneath, my division bar. I have to divide by the same number that is being multiplied by x right now. So -6 is multiplying by x, so I'm going to have to divide by -6 on both sides. Now, I have to, right now, put a little star next to my work. You can draw a star. I'm going to put a star because I can. Ha ha ha. Why am I putting that star there? I'll talk about that in a second. But I want to get back to the problem. -6 divided by -6 cancels out to +1. We know we can always write +1 here. We just don't normally. And on a multiple choice question, you probably won't see a 1 in front of x. Now I need to divide. This is different signs, negative I always take care of the sign first because that's one thing that you guys pretty much forget a lot of times. So I will have a negative. Negative what? 18 divided by 6 will get you 3. So my answer is going to be negative 3. Now, let's talk about the star. I have a star here because what I did right here is I divided by a negative number. Now, normally that's not a big deal, but with an inequality symbol, what it does is it changes all of the things in this problem. X was negative 6, now it's positive. 18 was positive, now my answer on this side, 3, is negative. It basically flipped everything around. So in order to compensate for that, what I have to do is I have to change this greater than sign into a less than sign. Whoa. So that is something that's fairly new. That's why it requires a star, and it also is going to require some notes. If you have room on this side, write the notes. If not, on the right side. If not, next to the stop and jot, wherever you can find some space. If the bottom here is actual space or not just made up by Smartboard, then let me know. Just write it down there. So when you multiply or divide by a negative number, you need to switch the inequality symbol. I put it nice and tight so it fits on this side. But again, if you want to fit it over here, if it fits better down here, that's fine. But these notes have to go somewhere. If you need to pause the video, pause it. Give a chance for everybody to write this down. Again, the star will help you. Anytime I do multiplying or dividing by a negative number, I put a star here. I actually do draw one. You'll see it on my answer key too. I draw a little star. As soon as I write the division, or as soon as I write the multiplication, I do it, because it takes my brain a moment when I finally do all the math to remember, oh, I got to switch the sign. So that star there is going to remind me to switch the sign. Okay, again, pause the video if you need to. I'm going to move on to the next step. Okay, now I'm going to graph this because it did say solve and graph. Here's my actual answer. I need 3 numbers on that number line. And what are they? Well, I got 0 already. Of course, negative 3 has to go on my number line, and that's going to be over here on the negative side. But of course, it needs its partner, or inverse, positive 3. And now I need to decide about what kind of dot I'm going to have, an open dot or a closed dot, and if my arrow is going to go to the right or the left. All right, I know Michelle is my dot expert. If you're there, what's up, girl? I know people make fun of me. They make fun of you guys too. The subs go a little crazy when they tell me that you're talking to the video, and they're like, "But she can't hear you." I can hear you. Don't let them lie to you. All right. So Michelle, if you're there, you gonna tell me what kind of dot to draw? An open dot or a closed dot on negative 3? It's an open one because it's not equal to. It's only less than. And Anthony, I know if he's there, he's going to tell me what direction my arrow is going to point. If I look at this answer, it's giving me the hint. It's going to go to the left. I don't have a lot of space, but I'm still going to draw the arrow as far to the left as I possibly can. So my answer is x is less than negative 3. Poop. Okay, first problem down, next problem to go. With a partner, I am suggesting that to the sub and to Ms. Freifeld to work with your next door neighbor partner, which means the person sitting next to you that will make a partner with you. Work with them. Look at this. You have to decide a couple things. 1, what operation's happening there? 2, how do I undo it? What's the inverse? Oh, so hard to write on this thing. And 3, actually do the solving. And ask yourself, do I need to draw a star here? I'm going to give you the hint right now, you are. Which means you're going to need to switch your inequality symbol. If it's greater than, it has to go to less than. If it's less than, it has to go to greater than. Pause the video, try it out. Ask you and your partners need to go through these 3 steps. And of course, graph. When you're ready, come back and we'll go over it together. All right, here we go. So, this is a division problem. 1 step, 1 number. I'm going to need to multiply to get rid of that negative 3. In order to do that, I'm going to need to multiply both sides by negative 3. And again, as soon as I do that, as soon as I write this step down, I draw myself a star. Don't forget, Miss Koloniki. That's what it's saying. Don't forget. What happens now is my negative 3 and my negative 3 cross out to get positive 1. And I write my little rule here also to slow me down a little bit. Remind myself, oh, same signs. I'm going to have a positive answer. 4 times 3, positive 12. And now my star to remind me that if this is a less than or equal to sign, it now has to change to a greater than or equal sign. And that is my final answer. That's the one that's going to have to go on my graph. So 3 numbers, 0, 12, negative 12. Open dot or closed dot. Hopefully you have a closed dot this time because it is equal to 12. I want to include 12 in my answer. And all of these other numbers are also going to be part of my answer, like 13 and 14 and 15 and 16 and 100 and infinity. All these big numbers are, any number that's greater than or equal to 12 is going to be in this group, in this solution. All right, if you're good with those and you got these notes copied, move on to the next slide. Here we go. All right, now, since you work with your side-to-side partner or another partner, I want you now to work with your front and back partner, if it works out, and if not, Ms. Freifel and the sub will adjust, so take it easy. Your partner and you are going to discuss which question, practice 1 or practice 2, is going to require you to switch your inequality symbol. Only one of them does. Your job is to figure out which one. Remember, I only switch when I am multiplying or dividing by a negative number. So that's your job, to figure out which one it is. You don't have to solve them, just got to figure out which one it is. So take a few minutes. You might have to do some work just to kind of get an idea. Start each problem. You don't have to finish it, but just start it and see which one would you have to switch the symbol for. Pause the video, come back, and we're going to go over it. All right, if you picked number 2, that's not right. It's actually number 1. So here is how we figure out that it was number 1 and not number 2. I see both of them do have negative numbers in it, so I completely understand why you might have thought it was number 2. I'm going to explain why it's number 1. What makes it number 1 is this problem is showing multiplying. I'm going to have to divide. I'm going to have to divide both sides by what? What number do I want to get rid of? I want to get rid of negative 2.2, or 2 2/10. So that is the number I'm writing on both sides. Because I'm writing a negative number and I am dividing by a negative number, that is why I draw my little star here. And then when I cross out and do this, I know you didn't have to do this math. I'm going to do it right now for you, so just copy along. Different signs, negative answer. My answer actually ends up being negative 5. I did it on my calculator, so don't think I did this in my head because I didn't. And then my star is reminding me that that less than sign now has to turn into a greater than sign. So my answer is 5. M is greater than negative 5. Now, let's take a look at this one. On the other side, this is a dividing problem, so I would have to multiply. What number would I have to multiply by? Well, I want to get rid of 9, so I have to multiply both sides by 9. Notice, 9 is not a negative number. So I, pointing to myself, me, Miss Koloniki, I am not multiplying by a negative number. So I do not switch my symbol. I do not write the star here. 9 divided by 9 is 1. C. My symbol stays exactly the same because I did not draw the star here. And then I have different signs. My answer is going to be negative. Negative what? 4 times 9? 36. So C is greater than or equal to negative 36. So again, be very careful. If you are doing the dividing or the multiplying by a negative number, that's when the sign flips around, and only when. All right. What you're going to do with the partners that you were in stations with yesterday and the day before. Those are the partners you're going to be with to do station 7 and station 8. Please don't interrupt. Let me finish. Don't ask so many questions. Relax. If Miss Freifeld, the sub, needs to change your partners because somebody is out, that's fine. In my Thursday folder, there are 2 copies of station 7 and 2 copies of station 8. That way, around the room, we can have 4 stations. So you only have to go to station 7 and station 8 one time. Your job at station 7 is to solve the questions and to translate the word problem. Station 8, your job is to figure out what mistakes were made. Remember our rule. Remember when we use the rule about switching the signs and when we don't. Your job is to figure out what this person did wrong. Maybe it was Jamie again, we don't know. And then this one actually has a very nice word problem. So I want you to write maybe a little sentence about station 8's problem. Again, this is what you're doing for the rest of the period. If there is any extra time, maybe you want to start on the homework or at least the top half of the next couple homeworks to get you a little head start. And anything else the sub or Ms. Freifeld wants you to do, please follow the directions. Keep our room nice and clean and nice so when Ms. McKevitt comes in next period, it's all clean. And I hope you guys have a great day. Sorry I missed you. I'm going to try to rest a little and feel better for you guys so when I come back, I'm the best teacher I can be. Alright, take it easy guys. I'll see you soon. Bye. Bye.